Well, I think for anybody watching this, it's quite clear where we are. Puerto Banus is world famous, everybody recognises it, but perhaps not everybody recognises this beautiful man who is responsible for where we're standing, along with his architectural partner back in the days, Nordi Schreck. These two architects actually had a huge hand in developing and creating what we now know as the world famous Port of Banus. And here we are, M.S Design, and behind this door is one of the gentlemen who's responsible for all of this that you see in Puerto Banus. Marcos, hello.
Pippa, good to see you.
Thank you very much. Is it all right if we come in?
Well, you're always welcome.
So I'm delighted to be sitting here today in the studios of M.S Design, which is essentially, Marcos, your baby, your practice, which has been here for many, many years. And we're here in the heart of Puerto Banus, and I've always been captivated by the history of this place, in no small part because my grandparents, when I was a very small child, had a boat here, and they would tell me stories, and I've got photographs of the port many, many years ago when it was first built, and I'm delighted to be able to sit here and speak to you and ask you about those early years and about your involvement in creating what has become unquestionably one of Europe's most famous holiday destinations. How many years have you actually been in this part of Spain?
First time I traveled to Spain, it was in 69. So 69, 70 and 71, I was traveling back and forth from Mexico to Spain, working for José Banús in the project in Puerto Banus. Since 71, I can tell you, I've been steady living in Marbella.
Marcos, you're responsible for perhaps defining a lot of the villa architecture within the area of which we're speaking, which is, let's call it the hub of Marbella. And many of your works are still very evident today, and you're highly regarded as somebody who had played a large part in actually developing this idea of the luxury villa within Marbella. Today, you're as busy as ever, perhaps more busy than many men half of your age.
The architect's work is a creative work. Therefore, it never ends. You start living with that feeling, and you will die with that feeling. Marbella moves very fast. The idea of a house modifies from one day to another due to the different mentalities of the different clients. And now we are into new things, new design, a new way to live your house, and trying to keep our clients happy and to make them feel that they are proud of their property.
In the last 10, 20 years, Marbella has become increasingly popular. Literally from year to year, we seem to have an ever-growing interest from people internationally all over the world. And I often wonder about how it must have been like back in the 1970s when what you were developing here was something very, very special, this marina alongside a bit further up the Marbella Club.
Correct.
Did you back then ever envisage that this coast would become as popular as it has become?
First of all, the location of Marbella. Geographically, we are very close to the whole of Europe. Second, the climate. Climate in Marbella, you cannot find it any other place around. Even if you move a little bit further than Estepona, the weather is completely different. So Marbella provides that beautiful space to live. Each period of growth of Marbella has been marked by the different clients that they were coming. The original clients, they were looking just for a small house to live in Marbella. Coming from Madrid to Marbella, it was a whole day traveling. I remember if you go by train, it used to take 12 hours to arrive to Malaga. If you were driving, and it was 6-7 hours to drive here or more. And now, with all the facilities that we have, the access to Marbella, it comes from everywhere. And how the people establish here, and they love the space. that marked a lot on the style of Marbella. It is not only Marbella as a city, but Marbella as the style of living that people has developed here, with the different concepts, different cultures that they have meshed together, and they embroidered this Marbella that we know now. Therefore, very hard to establish Marbella in periods, because it has been developing softly in accordance to what people arrived and demanded.
When one looks at old aerial photographs of this location, one sees Las Brisas golf course, the Bull Ring, Plaza de Toros,
Correct.
and the beginning of what was Puerto Banus. I mean, it can't be underestimated the impact that your creation in Puerto Banus, your and Noldi Schreck's creation in Puerto Banus had on the area as a whole. Because as I understand it, you two were absolutely instrumental in persuading Jose Banus not to build skyscrapers and to go for something which was what we see today in Puerto Banus, that Andalusian pueblo feel.
Yes, correct. I believe from the beginning we arrived here in order to have an experiment for Don Jose. He wanted, as it was the time developing in those moments, the architecture was developing in a high rise, let's say 12, 15 floors. And Alfonso Hohenlohe convinced him not to go into all this high-rise, cheap architecture, but to go into a more sophisticated type of architecture, attaching to whatever we have around. If you come to Andalusia, you love to go to the Pueblos Blancos, you love to go to Rodna, all those things, Casares, all these places that they give you a feeling of what the Andalusia of this area should be. Therefore, we had only to copy what was around, and that convinced a lot. Not to the promoter, convinced the possible buyers that it was the best option to buy a nice little Andalusian house in an Andalusian village, because that's what you're looking for. When you come to Andalusia, you want to have something Andalusian. The town hall modified the regulations. When they approved the 1986 general planning for Marbella, they established the concept of the Pueblo Mediterráneo.
One looks at original photographs of the port in the 70s into the 80s, and you compare it to now, and it's not been respected. I remember you saying to me, that's the way it evolves. It evolves with the people who come to this coast.
I always say that a piece of architecture, your work of architecture, is like your own son that grows in different ways depending what it is affecting in the area where he is moving around. And your son has their own character, their own personality that is being developed through the time. Puerto Banus is still my son. It's still our son, of the people that we have involved in this project. But yet we have seen that our son has grown in a different way of whatever we wanted to be in the future.
Lovely parallel.
But still it is your son, and still you love it.
50 years. 50
we are
years.
always open to restart with all the design. Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's a life architecture that is being modified. It changes every day. It is answering to the requirements and the needs of the people that they are coming.
Yeah.
So
strategically, it must be a headache for the ayuntamiento, because they're always having to think about the fact that more and more people are coming to a place which is actually the same size as it always was.
Yes, but well, that probably gives it the possibility of not exploding that much.
Well, it's wonderful to speak with you today. Thank you so much for inviting us into your studios. It's been delightful talking to you.
Thank you very much, Pippa. For me, it's a pleasure. I feel honored to be interviewed by such a fantastic professional in the real estate that cares about the history and cares about preserving the beauty of the area.
Thank you, Marcus. It's igualmente.